Give you guys a few moments to get in here. It's been a while since I did a live session, and I'm excited to get here and get it done for you guys today. Is provide whatever service I can for you today. Uh, so today I got a comment I want to read for you guys and kind of respond live because usually I do pre-recorded stuff, but I really love getting here and talking to you guys and we need to sit down for you guys that are part of the membership program. We need to sit down and hash out a time that we're going to do our private session together, private group session. Because you guys are paying for this membership, and I want to make sure that we can get on each other's time zones and get synchronized. I used to watch this show called, what was it? The Regular Show. I used to watch this show called The Regular Show. It's a cartoon. Synchronize. We need to synchronize our watches. If you guys have heard of that show, comment down below. If you heard of The Regular Show, if you guys don't know, I'm pretty much a goofy person. Like when you see me on these sessions, I'm usually goofy in real life. Like my kids know I watch cartoons. I do all that stuff. I dance around, joke around. But enough of that. So, you don't care about my life, I'm sure. So in today's video, we're going to talk about whether people realize or not that they're in a rebound relationship. And before I get into that content, if you want my help personally, reach out to me on my website. I'll put that in the live chat, fruitfulseeds.com. You guys know the spew, shameless plug. Reach out to me for help. But I have to pay attention to the people who pay for the service first because they're paying for a service. And this isn't against you guys. I understand that you guys reach out to me, and we had some issues with the emails, and I'm really trying to get that fixed. And this is something that I've went through multiple different avenues to get corrected, and hopefully it is actually broken down correctly, and I start to receive those emails that you guys send me. So I want to thank you guys for your continued support, your patronage, your embrace, your any of those like connecting type of words you can think of. I just appreciate you guys. This is what I love to do, being here with you guys and discussing issues like attachment styles, breakups, healing, all the things that I'm learning from clients, because clients help me learn too. They help me learn as well. When I have those sessions with them, we're learning together. We're in the trenches and we're getting things done together. And I'm exhausted. I'm spent sometimes at the end of those sessions because I really want to be as accurate as I can when I give people advice and when I consult them on what I feel the best move to make going forward. If you guys have been following me throughout this week, you know that I started a little mini series, Rebound Relationship wise, and I hope you guys are enjoying that. I hope it was a really good, valuable series for you guys to kind of help give you some insight on what you're going through right now and give you a little bit of clarity on what the issues that you're going through in this season in your life, because it's all season. Life is all about seasons. In our real world, in our 3D world, not the spiritual realm, in our 3D world, it's all about I just lost my train of thought. I got to read in this comment. I'm sorry. So I'll get to it for you guys. All right. Do people in rebound relationships realize they are in a rebound relationship? Yes. Clearly, to put it as clearly as possible. Yes. What if they do? But they're so lonely and desperate, they ignore those feelings and just continue in the relationship. So when I say yes, I mean both people realize it. Especially if they start to see different red flags arise, if they start to see that if you're the person that is the person that's moving on from a previous relationship and you're getting into something new with someone else, there's a few reasons that I discovered why a person won't leave. One, they have really boosted that person up and made it feel like they're over their previous guy. I mean, it can be to friends and family, the friends and family saying, hey, what are you doing? You need to, take time for yourself. But because they have embedded themselves in this lie that they told themselves, or because they're so enamored with the limerence phase or the honeymoon phase of the relationship, they don't tend to take the time to really reflect on that or to admit that they were wrong for moving on too fast. That's one reason, and it's their pride. Their pride is another reason. They're just too prideful to move on to let that person go. And three, the loneliness. Like you said in your question here, human beings, we're social beings. You know, nobody wants to lay at home in their bed alone, or they don't. We all need companionship. I don't care what type of attachment style you have. We are social creatures. We need companionship, and we need people in our lives to make us feel not so isolated. And if we don't, like, think about the people who are gamers. Even when I first started, when I was gaming a lot, um, I feel so connected to those people when they introduce things like Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. Being able to be connected with someone while you're playing your games. Because when I was a kid, I just sat there by myself playing Super Mario Brothers or whatever, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. I used to just sit there alone and play those games. But the instant that they had this live chat and the ability to be connected with somebody, it was like a game changer for me. It's like I don't have to sit here and play alone. I can play quests and I can do missions with people and celebrate with them while we're doing it. So um, that's just a little example of how we really need that connection to people, and it's no different when it comes to relationships and moving on from somebody. And another reason that a person won't, even though they know they're in a relationship, a rebound relationship, another person, the reason that they won't admit that is because they don't want to feel that pain that you have to feel, the grieving process throughout the healing process. All right, they just don't want to do it. They want to either delay it or they don't want to feel it at all. And as far as the person that is uh, the rebounder, the person who accepts that person that's coming out of a relationship, they realize it too. But at that time, they're getting all the benefits from the rebounder, or the person that's in a relationship with them. Um, and usually they figure it out relatively quickly. The person starts to talk a lot about their ex, not talk about all the things that they did and how they cheated and how they was unhealthy and how they just couldn't stand them. Then they realize and they say, you know, this isn't. I know what this is all about, and I know one thing that people are struggling with as far as like even the realm of YouTube is they don't have any videos out there. There aren't many videos out there that takes the rebounder into consideration, their feelings into consideration. And you know, this is kind of what I wanted to do this live session here today for, is to let you guys know that if you are the person that is accepting that person coming out of the relationship, there are certain things that you need to take into account, right? There's going to be certain ways that that person's going to show up. First, they're going to be hot and cold. They're not going to be totally into commitment or getting into something that's really emotionally intensive. I mean, they may say that they are. They may even start saying they love you and stuff relatively quickly. But let's just be honest. Like, you can't love somebody within the first 6 months, 90 days, or 90 days. Right? I'm going to be impeccable with my words here. Like Don Miguel Ruiz, I'm going to be impeccable with my words. The first 90 days, how can you fall in love with somebody within the first 90 days and it be actually real, especially if you're coming out of a relationship with somebody else that was emotionally intensive? Maybe you had kids with that person. You may be going through a separation or a divorce. It's really tough for you to actually love that new person. And that's something that you need to understand. If you're getting into a rebound with somebody or a relationship with somebody and they have broken up with that person within the last 2 weeks or a month, then you need to understand that they're going to be hot and cold. No matter how much you care for them, you're attracted to them, and how much chemistry happens in and out the bedroom, they're not going to be ready for a commitment with you yet. All right. You need to understand that. And you need to accept that, because you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And the reality is they're not quite ready yet. If you guys are just coming in here, comment down below. Let me know that if you're enjoying my mini series of rebound relationships or not. Like the feed, share the feed. That's just a little gesture of appreciation that you guys can give me to let me know that the work that I'm doing is valuable and you want me to continue to put out this content for you guys. All right. Love from India. Hi from India. All right. So there's another thing that you need to not do. All right. If you are the rebounder and you understand, like, all right, this person isn't ready, this person has expressed they're not ready, they're hot and cold, they're not showing up the way that a person that is moved on healthily from the previous relationship, they will probably try to put you in the friend zone. All right. And you need to not accept the friend zone. And the reason that they are putting you in the friend zone, if they step back and say, hey, I need some time to myself, I don't want anything serious, I just need to take time for me, understand that you're being put in the friend zone. And it's probably because that other person that they were with before is still in the picture. Because let's just be honest, when you break up with somebody, it's very rare that it's an absolute cold turkey cutoff. It's going to still be some lingering feelings there, especially if it's relatively fresh. There's going to be some lingering feelings there. There's going to be people questioning what's going on. There could be some things that they have to hash out as far as being able to make this a clean breakup. So, sorry, I'm trying to check my notes here. And you just have to understand that there's a strong possibility that they might go back to the rebound person. They have a stronger history than you. They have way longer. If you guys are relatively, if it's, I gotta stop saying relatively. I got this telling you, hey, Glenn, you know how this coffee be having me wired. So I'm going to slow myself down here. This is the perfect time to take a break and answer some of these comments. If you're in here, like the comment, like the feed, share the feed. I'll answer whoever is in here right now to the best of my ability. How long do rebound relationships typically last? She looks so happy. Rebound relationships last. All right. So from my research and from what I've learned from other people and, even experience in my own life, rebound relationships, they don't last longer than 3 months. But if they do, they can go up into 2 years without becoming super toxic, right? Because after a while, the relationship just turns really unhealthy because the needs won't be being met. Those feelings that they had in the beginning, those are going to just disappear. But I'm not going to lie, there are relationships that do last longer than that. There are relationships that can, not be considered unhealthy, that are, and usually what I learned about those relationships that do end up being a healthy relationship is because the person that moved on had already completely checked out long before they actually made the breakup. But the ones that you were the one that broke up with them and they ended up going and getting into something else, those aren't going to be healthy. Or if they broke up quickly, or if they did it just to kind of spite you, to get some kind of type of control out of you. Like if you were not meeting their needs and they were consistently saying that to you, and it was kind of like a protest behavior, and they just like, all right, I want to break up, and then they move on right away to make you jealous, and they're not completely in it, and the person is completely opposite of you, and they're not changing your pictures, or they're not doing anything that makes it look like this is a permanent thing, then their relationship typically won't last. My ex-new girlfriend clearly doesn't know she's a rebound because she doesn't know he started dating her 5 days after we broke up. He didn't tell her. But another thing though, people who are serial cheaters, and this is what you got to know. You got to understand about people who can pick up those feelings from one relationship to the next one. There are people who are able to cut those emotional ties from you and move on quickly and move on to something that, whether you consider it healthy or not, they just don't care. Like it doesn't matter to them. So one man's, the saying, I know my ex loved me, probably more than me. I know my ex loved me, probably more than me. How How can she all of a sudden leave and find someone a week later and look so happy after 3 years? Makes no sense. So it's escapism, all right? It's escapism. It's probably her way of grieving the relationship. We all grieve it differently, but is it healthy or not? No. You have to take the time to figure out who you are again, figure out your hobbies, get back into your purpose. And this is another thing. I learned that people who rebound to somebody really quickly, they don't have anything else going on in their life. They're trying to fill that void. Like if they're depressed and they're stressed from work and kids and all of the responsibilities that they have, instead of pulling back and taking their time to reconnect with that area, and then like Tony Robbins talks about the wheel of life, um, if they don't get their other areas in their life in order and they just have to be into some type of relationship, those are the ones that are going to be really unhealthy. All right, because you have to take the time to heal it. Like my mom said, my mom quote, you gotta go through to get through. And if you're not going through those emotions that you have to feel in order to heal from a broken heart, and you're just picking up those shattered pieces and taking it somewhere else so they can super glue it back together, then it's not going to be healthy. Then that person's going to become insecure in that relationship. Um, they're going to be having that fear of abandonment is still going to be at the forefront of their mind. Like they're going to be scared to be abandoned by the next person. So all these little things to think about are big things to think about. How long do rebounds typically last? Max, I know Max love me probably more. Okay, I'm trying to catch up. This is a great topic. Thanks, Tisha. Appreciate you. Thanks for being a person that's always here following and communicating and leaving comments. Dude, it helps me a lot. I like having this type of interaction. Air Bubble, hey, I'm doing good. Just finished and passed my emergency first correspondence course. Hey, celebrate. Everybody celebrate with Air Bubble. That's awesome. We can use more first responders in our life, that's for sure. Next, block me on everything. Does this mean I have no hope or is it temporary? The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. I'll repeat that. The opposite of love, I can't remember who said that, but I love that quote. The opposite isn't hate. Opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. So if they're doing all these things that looks emotionally tumultuous, chances are they're not over you. Because when they are able to just show up and see you in person and greet you and just be okay with seeing you, being okay with seeing you in their news feed and in their Snap stories and their Instagram stories, then that you know that they've moved on. Like they have nothing left there. And I typically see that more with women. I typically see that women can, once they check out emotionally, mentally, it's over. Like they won't see you romantically anymore. They may feel guilty for hurting your feelings and breaking your heart, but they typically don't want to come back to that situation. Especially if it's something that's run its course. If it's a relationship that was short-lived, maybe 6 months to a year, then maybe they'll reconsider it. But if it's like a 3-year, 5-year relationship and they moved on, then they probably have grieved this thing for a really long time. The red flags have been glaring for a really long time. And they just realize that this thing just is never going to change. This person that I'm with, even if they're making all these promises, their actions aren't showing that they're willing to change and willing to show up the way that I need in order to feel valued and to feel heard and understood, because this is what women need, to heard, understood, and valued in this relationship. So what if the breakup was 2 years ago, but the ex is still floating around? Then just let them float around unless they want to take more steps forward and display an interest or communicate an interest that they're interested in reconciling. Then don't buy into it. It has to be direct contact, or figure out their intentions. Actually, explain what does floating around mean. CC, what is floating around? X had too many rebounds before me and after, but lied to me. Now I know. Yeah. And is that the type of energy you want in your universe? Is that the type of person that you want um, hanging around your kids and your family members and your friends? If they tell little white lies, they'll lie about those massive lies too. So, sorry, getting interrupted here. My apologies, people. If they haven't gotten over the previous relationship, then it's not a healthy situation. Absolutely, it's not a healthy situation. You have to know what you're going into, what situation you're going into, and this is another problem. All right, we need to learn as a collective whole. That's why I say we need to learn how to date properly, how to ask the right questions, how to get down to the bottom. And then when you are able to figure out who they are, you can put them in this box of I know how to operate and how to show up in this relationship now. Because we don't. And we just leave too much gray area for it. You know, so many people, they start messing around with somebody, get into a situationship, 6 months pass, they don't talk about, what this relationship is. Are we exclusive? And then they get upset when they find out that person's either texting other people or they catch them red-handed at a restaurant with somebody or something, and they get upset. But it's like you have to date properly and ask those questions that are worth asking. Don't get caught up in the glitz and the glamour of the relationship. Go look, pop the hood, and look up under the hood of the car and see what the foundation is. What is the structure of the relationship? You know. Will my ex ever feel the pain I'm currently experiencing? Do you want her to feel that pain? That's the real question. Because if you want somebody to feel pain, then if you ask me, it's selfish. Because what the decision that people make in their life is their decision and their decision alone. And I know this sounds harsh, but like Wayne Dyer says, how people treat you is their karma, how you respond is yours. And if you are secretly wishing that they feel some type of pain and anguish over making a choice that they chose, then we've got some growing to do. Risky Will said that quote. Ellie Weasel said that quote. Nice. Thanks for fact checking me there, Tisha. All right. I got to get to whatever phone call this was. Appreciate you guys. Floating around is her. Okay. Thanks, CC, for following up with this. Hey, like the feed. If you're in here, there's 17 people in here. This should be liked. This should be shared. This should be all of the great things you can do for me for free because it doesn't cost you any money. I guess it's kind of distracting if you go back out of the feed and then like the video. But later on, when I end this video, please like, comment, and share this feed. All right. Floating around is his ex showing up to his job. Okay. I've since been in no contact for a week and he hasn't checked in. So I've concluded he's entertaining her. Yeah, for sure. Go with your gut instinct. All right. And CC, if you are a woman, all right, women's intuition is pretty accurate. Now, don't come at my neck. Men, don't come at my neck. Don't come at my throat for stating that absolute fact. I learned this from experience. And plus, I've seen other coaches say the exact same thing. And that's what I know. Wisdom equals experience plus education. So I've been educated on it. I've experienced it. So I consider it my wisdom. So, and what I learned, my wisdom is women's intuition is usually pretty accurate. And they let their anxiety or their sense of loneliness or the fear of being lonely stop them from listening to their intuition and following their intuition. So that's it. I have t-shirts on sale. Court me or lose me. I love that slogan. What you guys think about that slogan? Court me or lose me. Comment down below if you feel like that's a good slogan. I want to get hats made because I feel like hats are a little bit more flexible, a little bit more popular than t-shirts. You could take a hat off. You know, a t-shirt, you got to be stuck with that and committed all day unless you bring a change of shirts. So comment and share this feed. I appreciate you guys always, always. I just want to know I'm gonna end it on this one. We all have to learn from the decisions we make. Glenn, absolutely. Namaste. I love you guys. Have a good rest of your week. Happy Wednesday. Go back and watch my series on rebound relationships. All right. Thank you guys.